Welcome everybody, and a little bit of an update on our dog Anook. He seems to be okay. I went inside the house, and it looks like the bleeding has stopped. And I talked to my brother about a thing to go around him, the cone. We don't have anything like that around here, so right now, what he told me, he did shake his head again, and it just started to bleed again, but not as bad as the artery kind of bleed or any bad cut. It's sort of like a minor little cut bleed, not the drip, 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 drip. That's how it was in the beginning. It's not as a current flow. It's just like a regular little cut that you get a little scratch cut and a little minor bleed coming out. That's what it is. It's clogging up. We did everything to it when it first started. It was just completely red outside, and he wasn't like that about an hour ago. Well, it's way over 2 hours since we started the treatment on him, and I'm tired. Thanks to my brother, with his technique and my technique, we did what we did. We helped him out. Uh, what happened was I went into the house. He was okay about an hour, and I seen him again. He was okay. He's a clean dog, happy outside. I came in for about at least 20, 25 minutes, then went to get myself a cigarette, and I looked out the front window there where I can see the dogs. And right there, I noticed a Nook, all red in the face. He's bleeding, and he's rubbing his ear. So I called my brother out to check on him. We ran out there, and for sure enough, it was his ear, where the bugs were, the scab, I guess. We try to keep them away. We clean those areas, and it turns into scab, but you all know you can't poke on that scab. All you can do is clean it and all that. But this time, I guess he rubbed it a little bit too hard with his nails, I guess, and took the scab out, and it went a little bit too much into the cut. A little hole in his ear that I guess grazed the artery on his ear, and it was just like drip, 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 drip. That's how much blood was coming out. Not a constant artery line, but just a drip, 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 drip. And right at the very edge of the ear was bad cut there too, right at the edge, at the lining. It was bleeding there also. So what we were doing, Paul was washing it with the soap, with water and soap, and got the ice compact, in the freezer to freeze his ear, you know, put a cloth on his ear and hold it to stop the bleeding. It was helping, but every time he wagged his head, starts that bleeding again. Then I noticed right where that hole is, where the artery is, you can just see the bubbles of the blood gushing out. Bubbles. It was coming out that fast. It wasn't going on a straight line. If it was like a clear cut or whatever, you can get that line. But it was a bubbly effect this time. So we several times started stopping outside. So I told my brother Paul, why don't we do what we did with Snowball, what I did with Snowball years ago in Atikokan? Lance's nose. Snowball had a bad cut on his nose. It's a long story, but anyways, he had a bad cut on his nose, and it was that bad. So I lanced it, and ever since then, Snowball was okay. He had 15 more years to live, because if I didn't stop that bleeding back then, we already had the guy in town in Atikokan to come over and put him down. But at that time, I lanced it, and he was okay. So I saved Snowball's life. We had him for the next 15 years till we moved here in Berglund, and he passed away, and whatever. Now Nook, same problem. Artery, can't get it stopped. So I asked my brother to take him in and lance that cut. That's the only option we have. So we brought him in and then got the butter knife and put it on the element in the stove. Waited for about a minute to get it nice and hot, and told Paul the magic word, okay, ready. Then I have about at least 5 to 6 seconds to get that on him, get it nice and hot, and get it on there as fast as I can. So I know exactly where the cut is, so I can now know exactly where I'm going to put this hand and where I'm going to put this knife. So I'm ready. So I went in and placed it right on that cut, right on that artery, and I can hear it. Psss. Took it off, wait, did it again. It's starting to smoke, so I stopped and put it back on the element, get that razored hot, so I can get the tip of his ear now. So same thing, ready, Paul. Come in, same thing. And then Paul did his thing, cleaned it again with soap and water, and put the ice on his ear. I went in to get the Tylenol and the penicillin. I cut the Tylenol in half, gave him that, folded on bread so he can chew on and get it down there. Yeah, it worked. Got the penicillin, same thing, put it in bread, wrap it up nicely with your hand, give it to him. Got that down there. So right now, got the bleeding stopped. Took at least several times, about 6 times to lance it. Because every time he shook his head, started to bleed again. And we did it about 3 times, and this time it slowed it down, the bleeding. And then when he shook his head again, same thing, but not as bad. We did at least 6 attempts on that ear with lancing, and this time I told my brother we can't do any more. We're getting to the meat. We got to stop that because we're going to start infecting that ear real bad. So we stopped the lancing, and now, right now, Paul put a little bit of that ointment in. Paul, whatever, when you get a cut, you put that stuff on your cut. It's with a letter P at the beginning. I forget what it's named. But we put some of that on. Paul put some of that on. And we tied a little rope on him and keeping him laying down, keeping him calm, giving him water, milk. Even gave him a couple of my portions of extra portions I didn't finish of ribs. But that's the only way to help your dog out. I gave him my food that I didn't finish just to keep him calm. And now I just went in a while ago and got more update. He shook his head again. Minor bleed. It was just a minor little bleed, like a cut. A little cut bleed. Paul stopped it, and same thing, just keeping him calm. And right now, what we're doing in the big house next door, I'm in the small house. He's in the big house. He's just going to sit there. Paul's going to sit with him. I'll take a break and go in and let Paul have a break. Sit with him till that cut is completely not healed, but stopped bleeding. But right now it's clogging up. It's done. It stopped. We helped it. It stopped. So right now we're just going to keep him next door till nightfall. Then I'll bring him in here. Get him a little place in here to lay down on the couch. Keep him calm. Bring milk and that in here with him. Extra food for him. He's going to love that. And just get him as comfortable as possible. And hopefully that will heal up. But anyways, that's the update right now, and I appreciate all your comments and your tips and your prayers. You know who you are, and hopefully we didn't have to take him to the veterinarian. But anyways, I helped. My brother helped. It's called survival. That's exactly what I did. That technique of lancing a real bad cut, it does work. If you don't have a doctor near you, a regular doctor for humans.